Hey everybody, Mike Johnson here with Kevin Owens. After all these years, I finally get you.
Yeah, it's never happened before.
I don't think it's ever happened before. History in the making.
Yeah.
So New York City obviously has been a good city to you.
Yeah.
Main evented in the Hammerstein. You main evented in NXT last year.
I actually main evented Madison Square Garden just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you finished my thought for me.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm curious, you're in the middle of all the SummerSlam madness. You're running all over New York City. What are your favorite?
Too much traffic.
I was going to say, what are your favorite and your least favorite things about New York?
There's too many people. Yeah. My favorite thing is, it's just how energetic the fans are when it comes to, watching us perform. And, like I said earlier, the crowd's always crazy. Sometimes it goes the way you want, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they'll be way into your match, sometimes they'll start chanting for JBL. But it's never boring, and that's by far the best part.
All right, before we jump into all the promotional stuff, talk about the video game and all the other stuff, I want to commend you and Tyler Breeze for the fundraising efforts you did in GoFundMe with the Canadian wildfires.
Thank you.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. And, one of the things WWE always does, they like to do the giving forward, community outreach. Talk about your decision to go forward with that. And were you surprised the company jumped behind you and really helped you guys push it? Or were you surprised, or did you feel like they're going to get right behind us?
No, I wasn't surprised. I didn't expect them to, but I didn't expect them to really not either. You know what I mean? I figured they would, because why wouldn't they? And to get that once we got everything started, I had a talk with Vince about it, and to get his kind of seal of approval on it was really meaningful. And then he sent out a tweet about it, which really helped donations, and we ended up donating $66,000 American dollars to the Canadian Red Cross, and that's amazing. Those people. The reason why we did it in the first place, my grandparents lost their house to a fire when I was a kid. Tyler Breeze's dad worked in that area and saw how affected people were. And we just wanted to help out, and to see everyone come out of the woodworks to help out as well. And as soon as we announced it, like that first day, I think we raised $12,000 in one day.
It was amazing. It was really fast.
Really special to see. It's great.
Now we're going to talk some promotional stuff. This is the first year main roster Kevin Owens gets to be in the WWE video game. My question for you, however, is about your son. Has the cool factor of this worn off? Are you just dad again, or is he still amazed? Because we've seen that video of him watching you when you come out to face Cena for the first time. Has it kind of worn off? Are you just back to being dad? Is someone cooler? Or
I was never anything but dad. The thing that blew his mind was to see me in the ring with Cena, right? Obviously he thinks it's cool, but I think not that the cool factor is worn off, because I think he does, he loves coming around and hanging out with the boys in the back. He doesn't even really watch the shows when he's here. He just hangs out, watches the TV, eats some popcorn, and talks to the guys.
Wants to hear the old stories.
You know what I mean? But, it's funny, the other day he was sitting on the apron playing on his iPad, and Cena came up before the show, and Cena came up and was like, Minecraft. He's like, yeah. And then he walked off, and I'm like, you know who that was? And he goes, oh, yeah, it was John. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Now it's just part of the life.
Kids got to play Minecraft, man.
Crazy. I mean, it's just part of life, and in a way, I like it. I like that he's almost one of the boys already, and that's great, because who knows what the future brings. He says he wants to be a wrestler, and I'm going to encourage him as much as he wants to do that. But who knows, right? If he changes his mind, that's fine too. It's just cool to see him take to it so much, and I don't know, it's really special.
You've had a great run here in WWE, literally from the first second you got into NXT to the main roster. We've seen a new crop of guys and girls come up. What's the best advice you give them as they try to transition from NXT into Raw and SmackDown?
Well, be yourself. I mean, when you come here, you may have a tendency to want to change what you are, but what's worked for you is why you got here. And, that's what I told just a couple weeks ago. That's what I told Jason Jordan. It took him a while to find himself in NXT. But once he found himself, he blew up, and just, it was essentially, I feel like Jason Jordan, in a way, for years in NXT wasn't him until he started teaming with Chad Gable, and he found really who he was. And then within a couple months, he was up on the main roster. So I feel like he almost progressed as quick as I did. So I came in, and within 6 months, I was on the main roster. But I knew who I was from the start. Jason Jordan had never stepped foot in the wrestling ring before. It took him a while to get the hang of it. And now that he's here, the most important thing, the best thing he can do is be himself. And, him and Gable are going to do great. Gable's fantastic as well. And that's the best advice I can give them.
One of the most fun things for me personally in wrestling these days is yourself and Sami Zayn, because to me it's kind of like a throwback to like Tommy Rich Buzz Sawyer, Tommy Dreamer Raven, and like no matter what, you're always intertwined. No matter what, there's always a next step. Do you ever get tired of wrestling them? Do you ever feel like, all right, there's got to be something new? Do you feel like you've hit the creative wall at any point, or do you feel like it's just marriage and marriage is perfect and it's always going to evolve?
It's hard to get tired from it when we get the reactions we get. You know what I mean? There's something very addictive to having a crowd go that crazy. And I'm going to pat myself on the back and say that if you watch Battleground, nobody got that kind of reaction but us. If you watch Payback, nobody got that kind of reaction but us. At Extreme Rules, we got the same kind of reaction in that four-way, but there was 2 guys in that match. Like, I feel like there's something in our story that brings that out in people, and that's really special. So it's hard to get tired of it, you know. And I'm sure it wasn't the last time. I'm sure we'll find each other back into the same ring again, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Well, let me ask you this. You guys have obviously had your share of critics over the years. Don't need to name them.
Sure.
What does it mean to you to have walked Madison Square Garden main event, walked WrestleMania, and come up here where certainly there are critics who go, he's going to fail. He's being brought up to show that he's failed, that the independents aren't going to work. They can't work in WWE. And everything that was said that was negative about you completely flipped over. The hourglass has turned over, and everything's been all positive for you. What do you think is the secret to your success beyond just work ethic?
Well, I never listened to those people. You know what I mean? I just let them talk. And somebody asked me yesterday when I was doing the Sam Roberts show whether or not that was like if I had a chip on my shoulders because of people that would be that way. And I never did. I never did this to prove them wrong. It's nice, but that was never my motivation. My motivation was always like, I know I'll make it. I just gotta make it. Because I feel like if you let those people get to you, some people use it as motivation, great, but you're already letting them in. If you know what I mean, they don't matter. They didn't matter, and to this day, there's still people talking, saying that when the proof is literally in front of them, that I'm working and everything's working and I'm clicking and people are enjoying what I do. There are people denying that. That's just delusion, you know what I mean? So I feel like they're exposing themselves by doing that, and I don't need to address it.
All right, so it's well known you're a zoo enthusiast. Have you been able to hit any of the zoos here in New York at all?
I went to the Central Park Zoo once, and that was it, years ago. Anytime I come to New York, I'm always so busy. That's the thing, like, people always assume, well, you're a zoo enthusiast, you must go to every zoo in every city. I wish I could, but that would require me to leave my house like 2 days early and not see my kids. So as much as I love zoos, I kind of love my family more, so I don't get out to as many zoos as I wish I could, but every time I do, I always enjoy it.
So SummerSlam this weekend, you're going to be teaming with Chris Jericho against Enzo and Cass. The Jericho chemistry so far has been very good. Right mix of silliness, right mix of comedy, but a very serious undertone to it. What's the secret in your eyes to kind of having that right balance so you don't go too far left or right?
I wish I knew what the secret is, but I don't. There's no formula. There's no set plan. We just kind of do what we do, and our relationship in the back is a lot like what you see on TV. So I feel like we just let that happen, and it works. So I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what the secret is. We don't consciously go too far. We don't consciously pull it back. We are who we are, and it works.
Well, it works for you,
yeah,
sir.
Man.
I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot,
I look forward to doing this down the line again.
Thanks, man.